how much of your leg's going to flap around when you're being pulled screaming along by a creature underwater? The answer is a lot. You flap like a flag, you know. So we needed to know that, see what it looked like.
Amigos de películas, soy Gaby Cam y estoy muy feliz de saludarlos desde las alturas de Londres, una de mis ciudades favoritas, y estoy aquí para el evento cinematográfico del año, Avatar, El Camino del Agua. Ya llega a Cinemex y vamos a conversar con todo el elenco de esta película: Zoe Saldaña, Sam Worthington, Kate Winslet y, por supuesto, James Cameron, quien fue quien nos regaló esta gran experiencia hace 13 años y que sigue cumpliendo sus sueños con esta historia. No te puedes perder este especial de película.
Dad, I know you think I'm crazy.
Never mind those big rocks.
Having me, and thank you for being in the película, James. And I have to tell you, I feel like watching Avatar, the first one, it's kind of like a lifetime experience that you cannot forget who you watch it with, what were you doing. And I was kind of surprised when I watched this one yesterday. I got the same feeling.
Oh, good.
So,
good. I'm so glad.
Yes, it was like I couldn't stop staring at every single detail in the film. And I wanted to ask you, do you remember what you felt the first time you saw your work of a lifetime done? And was it different?
On the first one or on this one?
Yeah, the first one. And then was it different from this experience?
It was kind of this is just my experience now. The first time I watched Avatar completely finished in 3D, I watched it with Zoe and Sigourney and Sam. And I spent the whole time watching them. You know, because Sigourney spent the whole thing on the edge of her chair like this, you know, and Zoe was like, "Ay," you know, the whole time. Dio mio, you know.
We're Latin.
Yeah, and Sam was just, oh, mate, you know, because he's the understated Australian, you know. This time I watched it just with some other friends, not the cast, because we were down in New Zealand, and I was pretty nervous before the screening because, you know, I didn't know it's a longer film. Was it going to be too much in 3D to sit for that long and all that sort of thing? And I was surprised that it was okay, you know, that it had the right pace and rhythm and all that. And yeah, so I feel okay about the film. I like that, you know, people are responding emotionally to the film, which was the goal, you know. And I remember turning around to my friends and they were sobbing and they're like, "Don't look at me, don't look at me," you know.
I love that. And honestly, I didn't feel the time. I was like, I could have stayed there for an extra hour and that would...
When, you know, when we did the first Avatar, a lot of people were saying, "I wish it was longer."
Yeah.
You know, it was 2 hours and 40 minutes. They said, "I wish it was longer." It's like, okay, I can do a longer movie. That's easy.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, here you go.
I hear her heartbeat. She's so close.
We see a lot of interaction between humans and, you know, Navis.
Yes.
And I was mesmerized by how much it doesn't show. Like, I could actually believe that was real,
yeah.
You know?
It was.
Well, it was, yes.
Of course it was. We just went to Pandora and filmed it.
Yeah, that's what
no,
I
but
thought.
I know what you're talking about, the integration of the live action and the CG.
Yeah.
That was something we had, you know, spent a lot of particular attention on this time. And it involves some new tech that we didn't have the first time to be able to do that seamlessly, you know. So these were challenges that we set for ourselves, like doing that scale interaction, big people. Well, the big people are actually our size.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The actors.
Well,
so
I'm really short, so I'm
how
not
do
sure
we?
it's my size.
I was speaking generically,
Yeah.
human size. And then obviously water is very hard to do, and these sorts of things. But you know, I hope that the audience doesn't look at it from that perspective, like technically how was it done. I'd love it if they just kind of relax and say, okay, I don't know how this was done, but I like it.
Yeah.
You know, and just go on the journey.
But I'm a nerd, so I need to ask you.
Well, some of us are nerds, and we need to know how it was done.
Yes.
Well, that's how I got started, right? I saw 2001: A Space Odyssey in 1968, and I had to know how they made that.
So what does her heartbeat sound like?
What kind of details do you need to take care of in order not to give away that some things are real and some things are not real?
I think the way to make the world feel real is in specificity. like exactly the tack and the rigging on the creatures, so that how do you put a saddle on a fish? You know, because that's what they have to do. And then what does that look like and how does it work? And we even went into the ocean with these kind of robotic machines that could do what the creatures could do, so we could figure out how people could ride them underwater and at the surface of the water, and even flying and then diving back in and all. We had to do all that for real and study it. You know, because every single thing that you see somebody doing in the movie, a human being did. Sometimes it was a stunt person, sometimes it was a cast member, you know, but somebody did it for real, because we demanded that of ourselves. That was our discipline, you know, to figure out what it would look like. How much are your legs going to flap around when you're being pulled screaming along by a creature underwater? The answer is a lot. You flap like a flag, you know. So we needed to know that, to see what it looked like.
And you know, your actors are amazing because they make me want to do that. And
exactly.
It doesn't
right?
look easy at all.
Yeah. The only difference is when you really do it, your face kind of goes, you know.
Yeah. Especially if you're not used to the camera. About this, that I can tell that you know a lot about the ocean. I know you've done documentaries on that. How did that help you approach the science fiction part of this film?
I think the key to doing good fantasy science fiction is making it feel like it's real. It's an illusion of reality, right? So when we're working in CG, well, what would the camera really be doing if we were at the surface of the ocean, right? Well, you could put it on a boat, or you could put it in a splash housing and put it in the water. Well, it's going to look different if it's on a boat or if it's in the water. So when I was doing my virtual camera, I would ride the wave like I was with a splash housing, and I would tip it down and let it go under and come back up. But I couldn't have done that if I hadn't done it for real.
Right.
It really, you know, working on movies like The Abyss or in the documentary films and so on. I did a lot of in-water and underwater photography myself, so I apply those rules. Now we're doing it in CG with a bunch of CG artists, and we had to, you know, we had to teach ourselves how to make it look real. Put water droplets on the lens. You know, when you're following somebody in a wave and they splash the camera, what does it look like? So it's all simulated, right?
I could stay here all day hearing these stories.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
Thank you for having me.
You are an excellent nerd, and sometime we will completely nerd out about how it was done.
We cannot let you bring your war here.
Outcast. That's all they see.
I see you.
I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna get deep now because
Okay.
I loved about the Avatar film the "I see you" quote, because
Right.
I feel like everyone gives them the meaning they want.
Right.
Yeah. To me, it means I acknowledge you, I recognize you as
respect
who you
you.
are. I respect you. Yeah.
I understand who you are, but I didn't before. Like
Yeah.
I see you for the first time. You know, it means a lot of different things in a lot of different contexts, and it means all those things. It means I love you. It means I miss you. Where were you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can be as simple as I see you. You're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a simple greeting.
Now
right?
I have this question for you. If you could say that quote to your younger self at any point in your career where you actually acknowledged yourself and respected yourself as a filmmaker, where would that point be?
Ooh. I can think of a few times where it would have been nice if I just showed up and said, "Don't worry, it's going to be okay, kid. It's going to work out." Because there are times of deep despair on every project, even on this project, where you really think it's not gonna work. Either the movie won't work creatively, or you won't get it done, or and all that. But you just have to keep plugging forward, just like a shark. You just keep swimming.
The way of water connects all things. Before your birth and after your death.
I do have another question for you, which is about, I feel like watching you do this is history in the making for me. Like, I studied journalism because I love films like this. So in maybe a few years' time, when people go back and see what you did with Avatar and with all the films you've done, what do you think they're going to think of you as a director and maybe as a human being as well?
Well, I mean, I think that hopefully they'll see that it's not me. I'm the orchestrator. I'm conducting the orchestra, but there are all these beautiful virtuoso players and soloists, you know. I try to surround myself with the best artists, the best actors, the best troupe players, the best designers, you know, and then just funnel it all toward, you know, one goal. So, you know, I hope people can appreciate it. It's not just me making this movie by myself. There's 1,000 other people. But the key to it, I think, is to share that feeling with them of what it is we're trying to do. And if I can do that, then everybody's motivated and they want to do it, and they'll do all the hard yards, you know, like, and they'll be patient when it doesn't work the first time. And we just keep going and we keep going. But I see the satisfaction on their faces, like when I'm working with the virtual camera and we're trying to solve a hard problem, you know, and then I look back when we get the shot and then we're all standing there looking at the monitor and you can see the satisfaction in their faces. That's when I know it's a good shot, you know?
I need you with me. And I need you to be strong.
Leaving, I need to ask you this one last thing. So we're going to be showing the trailer for the Avatar, The Way of the Water, in a massive event in Mexico in the next 2 days. Is there something you wish...
Mexico City?
Yeah, Mexico City. Is there something you wish people who's going to watch this would know prior watching the trailer for the first time?
Well, look, I think you're going to be playing it for a Latin audience, right? Obviously in Mexico. So I would say, guys, this movie is about family. It's about family. It's about the most important thing in the world, right? Yeah, it takes place in this fantasy planet, but I think you'll see things that you recognize from your own life, you know, about parents and kids, about that struggle, you know, of being a teen, fathers and sons. It's all in there.
Thank you so much for your time, and yes, I see you, James Cameron. I really respect you in a way that you.
I see you.
Avatar, El Camino del Agua ya está en Cinemex y créeme, no te la quieres perder. Nos vemos la próxima.